Are we going to prison? Good afternoon, I hope everyone's well today. The government has put out a social cohesion paper, and it's being debated in Parliament and other places all over the interwebs, and I wanted to drill down on a couple of issues. Firstly, I've made videos previously that the government has an issue with spontaneous shows of pride or patriotism. They're happy to fly the flag of St George at a World Cup game. They're happy to fly the Union Jack when we're trooping the colour or for a Royal Jubilee. They're not so hot or happy with you raising the colours, and they're not so hot or happy with you having a Union Jack in your back garden. You may be allowed to do it by your local council, they may grant you planning permission, but it does make the elites, the ruling classes, uneasy when they see a flag like this behind me, and they haven't sanctioned it. This is the issue that we're going to get into. So first of all, this is from Basil. Breaking: Union Jack and St George's crosses labelled tools of hate by the UK government. This is disgraceful. A UK government document focusing on social cohesion has branded the Union Jack and English flag of St George as tools of hate. I do think they go into the flag of St Andrew as well. Raise the colours, Starmer as a traitor. Many will agree. We're going to get into the article now. Flying English, Scottish and Union Jacks on streets has been likened or linked to tools of hate in a leaked draft of the government's new social cohesion strategy. It warns that national symbols were sometimes used last summer to exclude or intimidate, and the extreme right has turned symbols of pride into tools of hate. No, not necessarily, it's just in a way that you can't control the narrative with. If people think that England is for the English and Britain is for the British, according to the UK government, you are now an extremist. That is their party line. Now, the good news is this is just a working definition, and it doesn't have legal standing. It's not binding, but it could create a chilling effect, much like the anti-Muslim hatred definition that they're going with as well. So we're going to continue. Campaigns encouraged people to hang the Union and St George's flags in streets on lampposts last year. Supporters said it showed pride in the country, while critics claimed they were linked to rising tensions over immigration and protests organised by hard-right figures, apparently, allegedly. The remarks appear to be in a leaked version of the government's community cohesion strategy, titled Protecting What Matters, due out next week. Reform UK leader Richard Tice has said absurdly it says our national flag is a tool of hate, used to intimidate. The whole paper is divisive nonsense and should be consigned to the bin. And then finally we land on this. A government source said the document is seen by think tank Policy Exchange. It is understood to be an early draft. It proposes that creating a new special representative on anti-Muslim hostility to coordinate efforts of hatred towards Muslims. The draft also pledges action against divisive content online, raising fears about risks of free speech. It sets out a stronger counter-extremism measures and says Islamism is the greatest threat to the extreme. Well, we agree on that at least. This is the issue though. If the government gets to define what is hateful and what is extreme, anything outside the use of official symbols in their capacity, because legislation and laws are usually opaque and deliberately vague, can mean anything the government of the day or the police officers that have been called to investigate a potential crime. It can mean whatever they want it to mean, so it does create a chilling effect. Add into this the removal of jury trials for any sentence less than 3 years. The police could decide that you flying a Union Jack in your neighbourhood is extremism. They could arrest you, get you charged, and then you have a judge, not a jury, sending you to prison for 3 years. This is how all of these things can and will be linked. It's not about community cohesion, it's about making sure that the government gets to follow their extreme agenda and not be questioned or called on it. So I'm going to continue to do that here. The extreme policy is mass migration to the United Kingdom. Millions of people added to this country without democratic consent. That is the extreme position. That's the mainstream position, but apparently if you're against that, you're the extremist, according to Keir and his Labour government. There's a short segment from a intervention that Claire Fox made in the House of Lords that says pretty much what I've said here. So I'm going to play the clip now.
I do, however, think that we need to still acknowledge, in relation to this whole group of amendments, the dangers here of what we mean by extremism, especially today when we've had the government's anti-extremism pronouncements, or they're coming out, that we should acknowledge that those who hold the pen on any legal definition of extremism acquire extraordinary powers to curtail free speech, to criminalise people, and so on, and it makes it a difficult issue. In a democratic pluralist society, there's invariably a wide range of beliefs and opinions that can be dubbed extremist.
On that point, we can look at this here. Alright, this is from the cohesion policy, this is from the documents. It says here that it's an extreme right-wing position to equate being English with being white, being Christian, or exploit national identity as an ethnic construct. I.e., if you believe that England or Britain has been ethnically homogenous for hundreds of years and was socially cohesive as a homogenous society, according to the government, that is an extreme position. That makes you hard right, that makes you a racist. I reject all of this. As I say, the extreme position is mass immigration that nobody voted for. Well, I digress, we'll continue.
And that means that we have some potholes to negotiate around, and it can lead to partisan, subjective and political labelling of dissenting views.
This is the issue. It's about policing dissent. The guidance will say that having a view that Britain was ethnically homogenous and British identity is linked to being ethnically of these islands, the police could deem that extreme based on the government's definition of what is extremism, and they could arrest you. It would be within the gift of the police whether they did or didn't arrest you. And with David Lammy abolishing jury trials, it would be within the gift of a single political judge to determine whether you're guilty or innocent. This is how all of these things are linked. They're not done in isolation. This is part of a coordinated plan by the Marxists in government to control us and to brand us terrorists, essentially, if you're against what the government is planning for the country and you object. We'll end this here. So what do you think? Do you think I've hit the right nail on the right head? Do you think the government is doing this on purpose to try to shut people up, shut people down, and if you won't shut down or shut up, they're going to lock you up because you're not even going to have right to a jury anymore? As always, these are just my opinions. Your mileage may vary. If you like this video, consider subscribing and sharing. It does help the channel out a lot. But comment below if you disagree. This is an open discourse and no opinion is invalid. Have a good day, and I'll see you in the next one.